Thank you for staying tuned to Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV. My name is Apollo Sarah and welcome to the Twitter Jabs 2. We continue the conversation from the Twitter Jabs 1, and the Ugandan government is set to buy electricity from neighboring Kenya, and that is after the Isimba Dam shut down due to operational challenges that led to the flow of power, water, I beg your pardon, the flow of water into the powerhouse. And the shutdown was undertaken as a safety procedure to ensure safety of staff and protection of the electromechanical equipment. In studio with me is Mr. Solomon Muita, and he is the Principal Public Relations Officer of Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. So let's get right into it. For the first question, I'd like to ask, for the benefit of the viewer, please explain to them why Uganda is buying electricity from Kenya.
Thank you very much. For starters, we are not buying all the electricity we are using from Kenya.
Okay.
We are just getting a little bit.
That is 60 megawatts.
Yeah, 60 megawatts. Because we have some challenges in our generation. You've already said we had an issue at Isimba on the 8th of August, yeah.
Yes.
When we got a bit of water running into a powerhouse and we had to shut it down. Right now, Uganda requires, we use at peak about 800 megawatts of power. Yes. But with the challenges at Isimba, we also have a unit under maintenance at Bujagali. All right. So another 50 megawatts is off. We have Nyagak, affected by hydrology issues. We still have some transmission lines under construction. So we cannot evacuate all the power from the generators. At the moment, we have up to 640 megawatts in the country, but I said we need 800. So yes, we need alternative sources of power until Isimba is fully restored in about 3 weeks, like the minister already communicated in a press statement. All right. That is why we are getting a bit of power from Kenya and a bit of power from other sources locally. All right. Yeah, just to, to fill that gap.
How many electricity dams does Uganda have?
There are quite many, but the major ones we know about Kira, all right, and Bujagali in Jinja. Bukila and Naluba, the former Owen Falls Dam. Yes. We have Bujagali, it's a major one. We have Isimba. All right. We have Karuma coming up. Okay. There are so many smaller dams that give us 1 megawatt, 2 megawatts, 3 megawatts. There are quite many in different parts of the country. All right. But the major ones are those ones, and we are coming up with another one called Yago, which is going to give us 840. And later on, we shall have one in Buyende giving us 2,000, that is out of nuclear. But altogether, we have built capacity of 1,378. All right. But because of the other issues I've told you, routine maintenance, some of the dams were constructed many years ago, so you have to keep maintaining them. Hydrology issues, whenever there is a dry spell, you don't have enough water in the rivers to run some of the generators. And, you need an infrastructure to evacuate all the power from the generators. So the infrastructure is work in progress. We need a lot of financing to make sure that whatever is generated can be evacuated to wherever is needed. All right. Well, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament did ask a very interesting question, and I want to pose the same question to you. And he went on to say whether such incidences could have, he asked the question because the reason as to why Isimba Dam was shut down was because there were operational challenges that led to the flow of water into the powerhouse. So he went on to ask if whether such incidences could have been envisioned in the plans. Was this a problem that was foreseen that could have been prevented in the, in the design of the dam? Yes, because that's why you saw all the safety precautions were, were activated immediately power came. We have an automated system. The system is supposed to shut immediately there is such an incident. Yeah, in this case, still, when the water came through, it first hit the automated system.
Yes.
It affected that system first. So we had to, because that facility has both a manual and an automatic system. So it affected the automatic system much quicker than we anticipated, and we had to use a bit of manual system. Yes. But yes, whenever there is an operation or a facility like that, you can expect anything. From low hydrology, you know, to machines failing and so on. That's why we do also routine maintenance to make sure that everything stays the way it is supposed to be. We have plans, we have crisis plans in place. That's why even with the isimba off, people are still having power in their homes. Much as the minister announced that there would be load shedding, it is not as bad as it used to be so many years ago. All
right. Well, the Auditor General report of June 2021 revealed that the government paid 87 billion Uganda shillings to independent power producers for unused electricity. You do say that there is the issue of finances to maintain the dams. But if we as the country or the government is paying all this amount of money, how come we're still not able to maintain our dams? Or does it cost more? Because the members of parliament went on to speculate that corruption is involved. Is that true?
Well, the talk of corruption is...
they also said connivance and compromise. Is that true?
Well, it is the convenient thing someone can say, but you know, putting up these facilities is not cheap. Okay. It's quite expensive. And by the time someone puts up such a facility, there is an agreement between them and the government. Okay. They're investing and they need to recoup their investment with some profit. So there is, in the agreements, there is a promise by the government that the power will be utilized. Okay. And that's the only way they can recoup their investment. So it is up to the government to evacuate all the power. Because when I put up a dam, I may not be in position to put up an infrastructure to move that power from Karuma to Kampala. Now that is the role of the government. Government will work on the infrastructure to evacuate the power. So when an investor has set up a facility and tests are done and all the power is supposed to be generated, once the facility is able to generate, the investor expects to make money. All right. And it's up to the government to ensure that all the power is consumed by someone. So there is no corruption in that sort of arrangement. I think we've just been, we've not just moved at the same pace. The investor, as the investor is setting up the facility, like we are going to set up one in Buyende that uses nuclear. Right. But there is no transmission line as yet from Buyende to the nearest substation, maybe in Jinja. All right. So as the investor is putting up the facility, it is supposed to be matched with the other supporting infrastructures to make sure that, you know, soon as the power comes online, it comes on, we are able to take it away and people are able to use it. All right. So those challenges are still there, but it's work in progress. We'll make sure that all the power we generate is consumed by someone.
Is this the only solution to have to, you know, buy electricity from Kenya? What about hydrothermal electricity and solar power? Isn't that enough to power the country?
Purchase of power from Kenya is a very temporary arrangement.
There's also the big question, are we going to pay money to purchase this electricity?
Well, Kenya buys a lot of power from Uganda.
Okay.
They usually buy excess power from us.
All right.
Whatever we have in excess, they use it because they have more industries than we do. So it is going to be an arrangement between our Uganda Electricity Transmission Company Limited.
Yes.
That sells to Kenya. It represents the government.
Yes.
It could be an arrangement where they pay in kind, because we give them power, they have to pay us.
Okay.
Now we have to pick some power from them. They could find, I don't know the detail, UETCL has that detail.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we have to, you know, settle that. We give them power, they are giving us power for a short period. So UETCL will find a way of managing that sort of transaction.
All right. You have re-echoed the words of Honorable Nankabira. She said that we will pay back in kind. So please, what does this mean?
Paying in kind means I give you power. When you give me power a bit, at some point we can just say, so how much do I owe? How much do you owe me? And we just settle, because it may not be cash exchange. Okay. It may not exactly be cash. Maybe we will say you are supposed to pay us so much. Now you can deduct so much from what you're supposed to pay, and that sort of thing. So we may not take actual cash to Kenya. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, it has been barely 2 weeks since the president, that is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said Uganda has excess electricity, and which goes on to explain his move to encourage Ugandans to now start adopting electricity cars. All right. So a lot of people are wondering if we're now going to have such problems, or rather deficits, in the electricity provision around the country. Is this something that is feasible for us?
I think such a challenge is not unique to Uganda. It can happen anywhere. We are not the first to get issues. We've gotten issues before at Ujagali, at Nalubale. They come because you're using machines. It can happen, but that doesn't mean that it's going to distort our planning as a country. We have the facilities. The facilities can run for more than 50 years. The minor issues could arise, and we have experts to sort those things out. As we speak, yes, I can tell you that at least one of the units at Isimba is already running. Yes. So these are temporary. They come as you maintain. You're going to encounter some issues, but bottom line, we have power. We are developing a lot of power generation capacity as a country, and if in a few years to come we'll have a lot of power. We are putting up transmission lines to DRC, to Rwanda, yes, to Tanzania. We have one already to Kenya, to South Sudan. So we shall have power in excess. We should be able to supply our neighbors and make some money. But we should also have enough power to run more industries. So we have a lot of investors coming into the country, yes, and they need this power. Recently we went to Wagagai in Busia, yes, and the investor was saying, I need more power. That one investor said he consumes power worth over 2 billion shillings, yes, in 1 month, over 2 billion. We have more investors coming to Karamoja region, and we've taken their substation. So we shall be able, you know, such incidences come once in a while. We have been stable for a very long time. This is temporary. Okay. It should be sorted, and all our people who make, you know, all our people should be able, investors should be able to come in and put in money. Yes. And the power should be available for them to, you know, to yes, make these electric cars and so on. We should be able to do all these things, the infrastructure. We've already started setting up charging stations for borders.
Okay.
In different parts of the country, Mpigi, along Entebbe Road, Masaka Road.
Yes.
And we shall be setting up more as people acquire electric cars.
All right.
So that is nothing much to worry about.
But so we shouldn't worry about it.
No, we shouldn't.
All right. But
Yes.
you say how many dams, how many major dams are fully functioning at the moment?
All the major dams are fully functional.
But,
No, not
but you
fully.
said Simbi
Okay.
and also Bujagali is under
Now,
maintenance, and there's something going on there.
The way these things are operated is that when you have 4 units, it's not sometimes advisable to run all the 4.
When you say 4
So
units,
the
what are the
way-
4 units? The 4 major dams?
No. In one dam.
In one dam, there are 4 major
there are
units.
Units. A unit is, in simple terms, what you call turbines. Like
Oh,
you
yes.
have turbine
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 in one plant.
Yes.
So at a given point, UETCL can schedule and say, okay, let's let you maintain 1 and run the 3.
Okay.
So when the 1 is fully maintained, they will allow you to maintain another one.
Okay.
This is done when there is maintenance. It could take about 3 months for one unit,
All right.
just to check that everything
It's
is
working
the way,
as it should.
Yeah, it's just the way it should run, or there is something small to replace here and there. So under normal circumstances, we already, we have excess. We have excess built capacity.
Okay.
So we have that luxury of allowing the different dams to maintain a unit or 2 at a given time. So it's only in times of crisis like now that the minister ordered the generation company
Yes.
to run all the units,
Yes.
because we need more power
All right.
owing to the issues at Isimba.
Yes.
But under normal circumstances, we should be able to do that. Okay. It's not that they are dead, but you just turn it off, send your engineers in to check and confirm that everything is okay.
Yes.
So that it can run for another 2-3 years, and then you can check the other one, just to make sure that everything is the way you expect it to work.
Yes, well, there was also concern that the load shedding schedule was going to affect hospitals. Is that going to be the case?
Already, by today, I believe every Ugandan knows that much as we put the load shedding schedules up, they are not exactly coming.
Okay. No, but when you put a schedule, that means that it may happen. So we have there's every need for concern. What if it happens abruptly?
This is just for planning purposes.
All right.
We plan because when we turned off Isimba, we expected that in the event that demand, because this is a demand and supply issue.
Yes.
So we know that at peak we need 800. Now you have 640.
Okay.
So you have a deficit of 100 plus.
Yes.
Which 100 plus we have our Namave, which runs on diesel.
Yes.
Which gives us 650. Then Kachira, which is giving us some 20, that's 70.
Yes.
And then Kenya, which is giving us 60.
Yes.
So altogether you have 130 megawatts.
Yes.
In addition to 640, you're almost at 800. So with those ones in place, maybe you don't need to load shed, but just in case, maybe you run out of diesel at Namamve, you may need to load shed someone. Okay. So we put up a schedule just in case we don't have enough.
Okay.
But so far, many people have been talking to many people, and they've not even seen load shedding and it's about 2 weeks since we got this problem.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a schedule to prepare you just in case. So even someone running a medical facility has to stock up some generator fuel.
Yes,
just in case power goes off.
That's true.
Yeah, so it is largely to prepare people for a rainy day, but the rainy day may not come.
All right. So we have no concern for a nationwide blackout or
No.
or just
No.
Not at all.
Load shedding
it will
means,
never come to that.
Load shedding means if
Kampala
requires 100 megawatts at some point, and you know, there's a point when everyone is using power, and then you don't have 100 to give them. Then you can say, let me first turn off Kawempe briefly. Okay. Maybe for an hour. Then I turn them on. I switch off where you say, turn them on, switch off, you know, Nansana, like that. All right. So that the areas that need power the most don't get off, like hospitals. We don't want our hospitals to go off. Absolutely not. There are facilities that require power all the time. Yes. And those ones, the reason we load shed is because we don't want those facilities to be in a blackout. All right. So we just turn off areas where we know it will not adversely affect the people or that community. Yes. So all right. An hour or two is not a big issue. You turn them on. If someone missed the 7 o'clock news, they can watch the 9 o'clock news or the 10 o'clock news. So that is how it works.
All right. So lastly, for my last question, what's the status at Isimba Dam? Will we be able to get back to, you know, normal operating procedure in the 3 weeks that the minister gave us 3 weeks. Okay. I can communicate that as of yesterday. By the way, it took only 10 hours to dewater the plant. We managed to get it dry in just 10 hours. And were there after the water? Yeah, of course. Any damage caused to the equipment? There were damages to our automatic system. Okay. And that is going to take a bit of time to restore. Right. Because we have to order for that equipment from wherever it came from. Okay. They have to manufacture it and ship it in, and that is going to take a minimum of 6 months. However, like I said, that dam has an automatic system and a manual system. So we are able to turn on the manual systems. All right. And as of yesterday, some units were being tested. Okay. And, you know, we believe even before 3 weeks, we should have power from Isimba. All right, perfect. Even before 3 weeks. And what is being done to ensure that this doesn't happen again? Yeah, every time you get a challenge like this, it's a learning. So we have a lot to learn from the Isimba experience. Yes. Probably the good thing, the contractor was still on site. There's what we call a defect liability period. So after they handed over, after we commission Isimba, we don't let them go immediately. They give us at least 2 years to monitor the plant. You know, how is it behaving? How is it running? Is everything operating the way it was set up, the way it is meant to operate? So that period was 2 years. It was extended a bit. And they are still around. They're right. And the facility is still under that insurance, defect liability period insurance. Yes. So it's not going to be an expense to the government of Uganda. It's going to be covered fully by the contractor and their insurers. So going forward, now that we saw that such a thing could happen to a plant, probably it's the first time water is running into a powerhouse. Yes. So they have to, the contractor is still around, they have to put in place measures to ensure that such incidences don't happen in future. And then the other facilities, not Isimba, Nalubale, Chira, Bujagali, Karuma, and so on, will also have to put in place measures. The same measures as well. To ensure that, you know, we don't get such. Because, for instance, Karuma is, the way it was set up, it is under the river. So you have to take extra precautions to make sure that the water doesn't really come and
fill up the facility.
Yes.
Yeah, we have experts and they are doing everything possible to ensure that we don't get such troubles again.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Solomon Muita. Before I let you go, any parting shots that you would like to give to the viewer to reassure them that the situation is under control?
Ugandans, dear Ugandans, we've been here for a long time. You know that we've been running power generation plants since the 1950s, and the teams have not gone away. Uganda has trained very many people. We have so many experts, and we have expatriates working with us. So there's been a lot of knowledge transfer from the expatriates to the Ugandans, but they are still together working as a team. We will do the best to ensure that Uganda is supplied with electricity. And also we are working around the clock to ensure universal access to electricity. There is a big project that is going to start in a few months, what we call the Electricity Access Scale-Up Project.
All right.
We have the World Bank putting in over $600 million just to connect people to power.
Right. Yes.
Our target is to get majority of Ugandans connected to electricity by the year 2030.
All right.
So that's the agenda of the government, and we'll do everything to ensure that there is power is available and power is reliable and affordable.
All right. Yes. All right. Thank you so much. And there you have it from Mr. Solomon Muita, and he's from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. And like he has said, that they are working tirelessly to ensure that the power production at Isimba hydro plant will go on, and make sure that they'll be back fully running in the next 3 weeks. Yes. Well, that's all we had on this segment of the Twitter Jobs, but I'd still like to hear from you, and you can connect with us across all social media platforms, and that's on Facebook, Twitter, and Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also YouTube. Please let me know what you think about this. Well, coming up is Hit or Miss, and that's our lifestyle segment, and the ladies will be telling you what is trending in the world of fashion. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.